Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
If we ever get it.
We'll see.
You'll have to talk to the good folks at Marvel about that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I know that there's been news about them reworking. I mean, they fired the whole crew that was running the show.
Oh, yeah. They
The
canned
writer-
everybody.
Replaced
The
them all.
writers, at least. I know that they.
I thought I read
killed the
that
two
they
writers.
got rid of everybody.
It was directors. It was everybody.
Yeah, the only people that are still attached are Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Barenthal,
Wow.
as far as I understand.
I hadn't read that, but I know that I read that that Feige fired the two writers, just totally unhappy with the way the direction the show was going.
Yeah.
You know, they. I had read that they had a legal drama almost. Like
we don't need that.
We don't need another legal drama, and the Charlie Cox's Daredevil didn't show up in costume until episode 4.
I mean, they already did that. It was called She-Hulk.
Yeah, they did.
Right. And I didn't dislike She-Hulk. I liked She-Hulk. But it was, and that was specifically filmed that way. I mean, she even says it when she breaks the fourth wall that this is a legal drama.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need another one of those.
No,
You're going to have Daredevil, especially after they made a big deal with, the announcement that Spider-Man and Daredevil are going to lead the street-level heroes. Right.
You need him to be a hero,
You need
not
him
a
to be
lawyer.
a hero. You need to be fighting because, God knows they ain't getting Tom Holland to be in a TV show.
Right.
They're not going to have a Spider-Man TV show with Holland. He's probably going to do one more film, and then they're going to hand it over to Miles Morales, I would imagine.
Sure.
That's what I would do
Yep.
if it were me. Now,
Well,
you could
yeah.
cast whoever you cast as Miles Morales. You could have him in a TV show. But Holland ain't going to do one at this point. He's been through all the Infinity Wars movies. I mean, that's not...
What's he
gonna
done?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
he's done
it's-
like what, 8 films as Spider-Man?
He's done a bunch.
8
And
or 9.
He's going to
It's a
do
bunch.
one more Spider-Man full-length feature, I believe, and I think that's it. I think he's done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
at this point, it'd be like throwing Robert Downey Jr. on one of the Disney Plus shows, and that's just plain
not
not
gonna
going to
happen.
happen.
No, but it's kind of like they can do the same route that they did with Mackie, right? He was on a show, and then he'll be in the films.
Sure.
You can do the same thing with Miles Morales in a season or two. If it were me, I'd even bring him into the Daredevil show.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a way to introduce
Why
him.
not?
And then you have him show up in the Holland movie, and then you work all that together, and you tie it, and there's a handoff, and Tom Holland goes off into the sunset as Spider-Man, and then you have Miles Morales being your main Spider-Man for a while.
Sure.
That's how I would do it, but start it in the Daredevil show. Start it with Charlie Cox. Start it with your street-level heroes.
Yeah.
With him and the Punisher, D'Onofrio. This series that they're doing, this Daredevil Reborn or Rebirth, whatever it's called, is based on a comic book series of the same name. Will they stick to it? Probably not, but that's okay. As long as it has the spirit of it. We've talked about that in other Marvel films.
Of course.
Especially at this point now with Marvel where it is. I think the viewership is waning. I think
There's fatigue.
people have huge Marvel fatigue. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people that
Yes.
tell me they don't watch anything Marvel anymore because they have, large Marvel fatigue. They'll watch a couple things like the Spider-Man movies, but
Yeah.
the other, newer stuff or smaller stuff, they don't even bother with.
Well, like I'm going to be excited when we finally get Captain America 4.
Yeah.
That's going to be dope. Can't
Yep.
wait. And if there's any other continuations of, like the primary heroes, I'm
Yep.
going to be super excited about that. The Marvels looks okay.
I'll probably see it.
I'll probably
but
watch it.
I don't know that I'll go to the theater. And it
Yeah,
used to be
might
I
not.
didn't miss a movie in the theater.
We saw Captain Marvel in the theater.
Yep.
Opening night. That's exactly what it is. And now it's just not there.
Quantumania wasn't as good as I'd hoped it would be.
No.
And to be honest, Loki's been out for a month. I've watched 1 episode. They're on 4.
See, I've watched all 4 of them.
I have watched. I'm halfway through the most recent episode 5, and I got to tell you, I'm loving it.
Oh yeah, Loki's been good this season. I think Loki better than Loki season 2 is better than season 1 at this
Oh,
point.
without a doubt, yeah.
And I think I'm suffering from Marvel fatigue myself.
You're not the only one,
No,
though.
you're not the only one for sure. I think what they really need to do is those Netflix series, the Daredevil, was it Iron Fist,
The
chick.
Defender,
Yeah.
Jessica Jones,
Jessica
the
Jones.
Punisher.
Yes.
Those all did really well because they were established
different.
and they were different. And if this Daredevil isn't going to be at least similar to that, it's a mistake.
Yeah, no, he needs to be.
Yeah.
He needs to be. And you brought over John Barenthal, right? And you brought over Vincent D'Onofrio.
You got the Punisher. You got Kingpin. So let's.
You have to do that.
So let's see a continuation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to.
Let's take that energy.
You don't have a choice, and you have to continue on with the feel and theme of those shows.
Yes. And I really feel like that's what happened is they delivered the first 4 episodes and Kevin Feige went, what the hell is this?
I think they filmed 8.
Jesus.
Yeah, wow.
That's even
But
worse.
I don't think they're going to keep them all. From what I've read, I think that they're going to keep some, but not all.
Yes,
There'll be reshoots. They're going to redo the direction of the show. Which, I mean, I think overall the mouse recognizes because you see them doing that with Star Wars and Marvel.
Yep.
That there's fatigue on their big properties because they spent the money and went hard.
Yeah, they went real hard.
And you throw so much at people that even the good stuff starts to get, not great reviews or not great views.
Sure.
I mean, look at Ahsoka. Ahsoka has not gotten the ratings that The Mandalorian gets, but Ahsoka was great.
Yeah.
But
agreed.
there's probably some Star Wars fatigue, and Ahsoka also suffered from. If you hadn't watched Rebels, you were lost in that show.
Yes.
You don't know what the hell was going on. You didn't know any of the characters, except for maybe Ahsoka because you saw her in The Mandalorian.
Sure.
Which, again, is not her background. The people who've only seen her in The Mandalorian need to really watch the other shows. So it's the same thing. They need to my point of talking about Ahsoka is simply Marvel is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Marvel, needs to make sure that there is some continuity. But they also need to make sure that they got to get their groove back. There's been so much thrown at us, and when you throw stuff out there that is like some of these series that they've had on TV, unpopular opinion, I didn't like WandaVision that much. People talk about it like it was fantabulous, and it was watch sitcoms for 3 episodes.
Yeah,
and then
then get into the story.
She did a couple things.
Yeah,
to me that's where it started. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I loved.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch the other Miss Marvel show.
I got about
watched
halfway
1 minute
through
of it.
Yeah.
Loki, I watched the whole first season. Like I said, I've only watched 1 episode so far of this new season. I like the last season of Loki. I haven't really had a reason other than just it hasn't been something that's been,
it's not top of mind.
Same with Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion was okay.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head. You are suffering from Marvel fatigue.
And so much of it.
Viewership,
it's not special.
Viewership has declined steadily over the last every single show that they've released in sequence. The viewership has dropped.
Yeah.
By 500,000, 1 million viewers, so that you start out with, like Loki, for instance, got, I don't know, I'm throwing a number out there, 2.5 million or whatever, and you get down to WandaVision and it's 1.5 or something like that. So there's been a serious decline in viewership over the last few years because people are just fatigued. They're like, you came out with Phase 4 and you had the Infinity Wars, and that was just phenomenal stuff. It was great writing. It was great. Everything about it was great. Yeah. And then you come out with these TV shows that are supposed to tie these phases together, and they're just people are just seriously underwhelmed.
Since the Infinity Wars, the only movies from Marvel that have really wowed me have been the 2 Spider-Man movies that came out after Endgame.
Yeah, my point exactly.
People Far From Home and No Way Home. Those have been
people are just underwhelmed.
Phenomenal. The other ones, the second Black Panther movie, it was okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't great to me.
Would have been better with Chadwick Boseman, but
of course,
of course,
it wasn't even that for me. It was just it was more of the same thing.
Yeah,
again and again and again and again.
Yeah,
there's not been any new special sauce or anything, and to be honest, that's going to be hard for them to fix. Because when they introduced these movies and had the MCU, this was all new because it had never been done before.
Sure.
So how do you do that again?
Yes. Well, they've got a challenge ahead of them. They do.
That's what the Mouse House needs to figure out.
Well, sure.
Plain and simple.
They do. And, Daredevil is an opportunity to do that. So I'm sure Kevin Feige, so that tells me whatever he saw in these ones that he whacked must have been terrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
It's possible it was just more of the same. You know what I mean?
It is. Hopefully he's in tune enough to figure that out.
Sure.
And and goes a direction that is interesting. It's both, because right now they're in a position where they could lose superhero market share to DC.
Well, DC's got to get their house in order before that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Color me unimpressed with what James Gunn has done so far.
The Batman was a good step.
Well, and
yeah,
then
but
it's
that's
Step
all,
in the right direction, but that was gone. That
does-
momentum has been lost.
Yeah,
already.
it doesn't matter.
And it's not even, that's in their Elseworlds. It's not even in their main
It's not their
continuation.
main-
It's not in the DCU.
Yeah.
Sure.
So even his next movie won't be in the DCU.
Okay.
Right. Which sucks because he's the best Batman we've had in a while.
Dumb, but
Yeah.
that's whatever. We're not talking about DC today. We've scolded DC a lot.
Yes, we have. And
Deservedly.
We'll continue to.
Yeah, well, until they do something good. I mean, they're wasting the. Anyway,
Yeah.
so hopefully they can then rebrand. However, they're going to do this Daredevil. Not rebrand. He's still going to be Daredevil. But if it's me, like I said earlier, I would incorporate Miles Morales into this show.
That'd be really cool.
Not to take away from Daredevil, but as just pop up near the end, maybe even season 2 if it's 2 seasons.
Sure.
To kind of get that continuation locked in, because who knows when the 4th Spider-Man movie comes out. I don't even know if they've even finished writing it.
Right.
I didn't do any of that research before we started talking.
Right.
But, you would, if the street level heroes, you got to do that. And then if you're going to keep with Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones, pull her in. If
Right. And those decisions need to be made if they haven't already.
Yeah.
And they need to come
If
in.
you're going to keep,
Early on.
Yeah.
Iron Man and Power Fist the same characters, bring them in. The same actors, bring them in.
Sure.
And that would be fantastic. I know D'Onofrio and Barenthal will be in it. I just hope they do it right. Daredevil's been a character that's gotten on a lot of rides with Marvel on video. Mm-hmm. You had the original with Ben Affleck.
How do you really feel about that?
The movie's
Tell
terrible.
us how you really
Yeah.
feel about it. Yeah.
So bad. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Have you seen her? Yes, I did just drop MC Hammer. That movie's awful. And then you have, Daredevil. Charlie Cox is great. And then I really liked him in She-Hulk, but a lot of people didn't.
No, I thought he was great.
He was great. I don't know if I was super excited about the storyline, but it worked.
It's straight out of the comics, man.
Yeah, it is.
She-Hulk is one of the most comic accurate shows Marvel's ever made.
Well, and people want to forget that.
And people complain, especially the people who complain about stuff not being comic accurate, and like the bitch about She-Hulk, and it's like, dude, that's one of the most comic accurate ones there was.
Yeah.
Except for, the Kevin robot, but that's
That's
at the
just that's an in joke, but even that is on brand for She-Hulk.
Yeah.
She broke the fourth wall as much as Deadpool did.
so.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Maybe we'll see how this goes and wraps, because they really need to. Again, I know this is about Deadpool. That we started with this, not about Deadpool, but about Daredevil.
Yeah.
But really, this whole conversation is basically about Marvel and what can they do to turn things around, and and kind of, because they also at the same time have to incorporate the multiverse and all the other all the other properties that were Fox.
Oh yeah.
And I saw another article out recently that said that Feige confirmed that yes, everything is in the multiverse that's ever been made for Marvel, which would stand to reason includes Blade, includes all the Fox properties, all the X-Men movies, all the Fantastic Four. So they have a big job ahead of them of wrapping that all together. And Deadpool 3 is gonna come out, but not till next year.
Yeah, that's a
And
bummer.
we'll see how all of that ties together, because Marvel could either have a renaissance and come back strong, or they could die an ugly death here.
Crash and burn.
Yeah.
I think if they don't utilize Deadpool to help with that,
They need to
take some shortcuts, because that's what Deadpool
He's
can
the
do for
perfect
you.
device. That's what you need to use him for.
Exactly. If they don't do that, they're making a huge, huge mistake.
You got to make jokes about him owning a soccer team now. You got to do all of that stuff.
All of that. Yes. You absolutely have to do all of that.
Yeah.
But either way, as soon as we get Daredevil, because we don't know when we're going to get it, we'll all be watching it. For
Yes, for sure.
Hopefully it's great.
Let's hope. Thanks for watching the Nerd Card. If you like this content, Please remember to like and subscribe and hit notifications so that you get notified of every new video that we have.
And do not forget, you can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff, and especially thenerdcard.com. And with that, we will say, what's on your nerd card?